Chapter 46, Forced Retirement. Emperor Ming's change disappointed Lin Jufeng. But thinking about it carefully, there had been signs of this change long ago. But no matter what, choosing a concubine or wanting to abolish the empress were Lin Tianyuan's own family matters. Lin Jufeng did not need to participate in this as there were court officials to stop Lin Tianyuan from abolishing the empress. At least in state affairs, he didn't make any mistakes. The Yuha God dynasty was still improving by the day. Lin Jufeng stayed in the cold palace peacefully as he proceeded to ignore Lin Tianyuan's actions. He had clearly said before that Lin Tianyuan would walk his own path in the future. If he walked wrongly, that was the misfortune of the Yuha God dynasty. At the crucial moment, Lin Jufeng would save them. But the Yuha God dynasty was still doing well. These problems were only the result of Lin Tianyuan's lust. Lin Jufeng couldn't be bothered with him. The more important matter for him right now was still improving his cultivation base. In the cold palace, he slowly grasped the meaning of the immortal treasury stage in the human god realm. In the Forbidden City, Mei Niang, who had recently caused controversy, was trying her best to please Lin Tianyuan. She was beautiful and full of youthful charm. She looked very pure and her smile was adorable. She didn't look seductive. The path that she took was a different one. A man's first love. Although there was a Mei one in her name and she was also addressed as Mei Niang, she had a face that no man could reject. The first girl a man would fall in love with when he was young was someone like her. It was also because of this appearance that she was able to establish herself in the palace. She was favored by the emperor and her status continued to rise. Now, she was already a threat to the empress. Your Majesty, the court and public are currently in an uproar. They describe me as a vixen who seduced you, Your Majesty. If you insist on abolishing the empress, then I really won't be able to survive in such an environment. Mei Niang poured wine for Lin Tianyuan as she lamented. She took the initiative to speak up for the empress, expressing that she didn't want the empress to be abolished. But these words didn't sound right. When I married the empress back then, it was because she was designated by father to me. I have never liked her. All these years, she gave birth to 2 children for me. I am also grateful to her for that and therefore I granted her the title of empress, Lin Tianyuan said with an unhappy expression. But instead of managing the imperial harem properly and holding up the rear for me, she actually became jealous and poisoned you, my beloved concubine. How can this vicious woman become the mother of the God dynasty? Lin Tianyuan said angrily. Not long ago, a eunuch by the empress's side secretly poisoned consort Ming, which was Mei Niang. If Lin Tianyuan didn't visit her to spend that night with her together, he would have been too late to save her from death as she fell unconscious after drinking the poisoned beverage. If Mei Niang truly died, then Lin Tianyuan's rage would have been uncontrollable. As the emperor, he inherited the wishes of his predecessors, to reform the world and change it for the better. With one order from him, countless people would lose their lives. But the woman he loved the most almost died because of jealousy. This made Lin Tianyuan furious. Your Majesty, I am already lucky to be alive. What happened in the past is insignificant. Besides, the Empress also said that someone had framed her to get rid of us both. The aim is to harm both of us so that no one will emerge victorious between us. Your Majesty, please don't be angry. I still believe in the Empress's character, Mei Niang said weakly. She was just a teenage girl who didn't have much cultivation base. She was so fragile and weak. Thus, she was very capable of arousing a man's desire to protect her. Her character. Lin Tianyuan laughed in disdain. He pointed with his finger and said, I've been married to her for 20 years. I thought that she was a woman who knew the big picture and knew when to advance and when to retreat. But who would have thought that she would do such a thing? I don't even dare to say that I believe in her character. There's no need for you to explain for her. Your Majesty, don't be angry. I won't say any more. Mei Niang hurriedly used her soft and boneless-like hand to stroke Lin Tianyuan's heart as she said with concern. My beloved concubine, don't worry. I will definitely give you the best. I was even able to complete such a huge reform throughout the dynasty. I just want to promote the concubine that I like to become the empress, yet I am being called a foolish ruler by those people. This is simply preposterous, Lin Tianyuan said with a cold expression. He was very angry. Not only was he angry at the empress, but he was also angry at the group of court officials and the group of rotten scholars in the imperial court. All they knew was to tell him to follow some etiquette and honor, that he shouldn't abolish the empress. Abolishing the empress is my wish, no one can stop me. Men, go to the empress's palace and tell her that from today onwards, she will be stripped of her title as the empress and will be demoted to being an imperial concubine. She shall pray to Buddha every day and reflect on herself to not be jealous of others all day, Lin Tianyuan said coldly. He showed no mercy to the empress at all. Your Majesty, Mei Niang looked at Lin Tianyuan in surprise. She blinked her large eyes and a blush appeared on her youthful face. She looked especially charming. This consort Ming's casual actions all carried a sense of seduction. But looking at her face, it was innocent and radiant. All those that saw her face would feel that she was a very kind person. My beloved concubine, wait a few months more, I will make you the empress. Let's stay together forever. I was too busy for the past 20 years. But now that the God dynasty is stable and powerful, I can finally enjoy my life. Lin Tianyuan looked lovingly at Mei Niang. I will accompany your Majesty forever. Mei Niang was moved to tears as she threw herself into Lin Tianyuan's arms. The abolishing of the empress became a reality. The empress that was praised by the court as virtuous was abolished and was demoted to an imperial concubine. She was ordered to reflect on her actions. That night, every court official gathered in the great council hall to persuade His Majesty to retract his order. The empress must not be abolished. Her disappearance would cause chaos within the imperial harem. If the imperial harem was in chaos, the God dynasty would also be affected. All sorts of theories about this decision emerged endlessly among the officials. Lin Tianyuan's face turned cold as he listened, his patience was slowly running out. Your Majesty, the root of the problem is that witch, Mei Niang. Ever since she entered the palace, the imperial harem became racked with internal strife. This woman is a walking disaster. She is here to harm the Yuha God dynasty. Your Majesty, please punish this woman to death. The cabinet chief, who is also Emperor Yuan's teacher and had been serving 3 generations of emperors, knelt down at this moment and shouted loudly. Lin Tianyuan looked coldly at the cabinet chief. Is old sir teaching me how to do things? Lin Tianyuan gritted his teeth and said angrily. Your Majesty, please consider. This is for the sake of the country and for the peace of the imperial harem. The cabinet chief bitterly persuaded. Lin Tianyuan would listen to his advice in the past. Because at that time, Lin Tianyuan was still a humble emperor. He wanted to achieve results. But the current Lin Tianyuan already felt that he had contributed greatly, even more than the founding emperor of the Yuha God dynasty. He couldn't take such advice from him anymore. Especially when he had already heard about it for more than 10 years and was already tired of it. Old sir is already old, you don't have to kneel here anymore. I will allow you to return to your hometown and live the rest of your life in comfort, Lin Tianyuan said coldly. The court officials were dumbfounded upon hearing this. For the sake of a concubine, Lin Tianyuan forcefully retired the cabinet chief who had sacrificed his entire life for the God dynasty. The body of the cabinet chief also trembled. Sorrow gushed out of his heart. He couldn't help but speak up. Your Majesty, it's not a problem for me to return to my hometown, but I ask your Majesty to consider the stability of the state in the imperial harem. Bestow death upon Mei Niang. Your Majesty, please consider the stability of the state in the imperial harem. Bestow death upon Mei Niang. Your Majesty, please consider the stability of the state in the imperial harem. Bestow death upon Mei Niang. Your Majesty, please consider the stability of the state in the imperial harem. Bestow death upon Mei Niang. The court officials all knelt down and shouted loudly outside the great council hall. All of you are rebelling. Am I the emperor, or are you all the emperors? Lin Tianyuan was enraged. All of you, return to your hometowns. The reforms have been completed. The God dynasty will remember your contributions, but you lot have obviously never adapted to the new era. In his fury, Lin Tianyuan disbanded all the court officials left behind by his father, Emperor Yuan. He dealt upon them their forceful retirement. Chapter 47, The Love Lin Tianyuan said. Just as the reforms of the Yuha God dynasty proved to be successful as its people spent their days in peace and contentment, chaos suddenly broke out within the confines of the imperial court. Emperor Ming, Lin Tianyuan abolished the empress and doted on concubine Ming, Mei Niang. He wanted to make her the empress and caused an earthquake in the imperial court and the public in the process. More than 10 court officials that followed Emperor Yuan from the beginning of the reforms until now. The court officials of 2 generations in the Yuha God dynasty. Some were even old officials from 3 generations back. Their prestige ran deep and they had a significant influence on the Yuha God dynasty. But now, they were dealt upon them their forceful retirements and were asked to return to their hometowns and leave the cabinet. Lin Tianyuan's actions shocked the world. The court officials and the commoners were all discussing what Emperor Ming was trying to achieve by doing this. For the sake of a beautiful woman, did he not want the imperial court anymore? Without these court officials, who would manage the world for him? Without these cabinet ministers, who would help him continue to reap the fruits of the reforms for him? Emperor Ming wasn't that old yet. He ascended to the throne at 15 years old. After more than 10 years, he was only about 30 years old. He could be considered to be at the prime of his life. How could he be so muddled? After a few days, Emperor Ming also knew what the people of the world were saying about him. But he was very confident. He had hundreds of martial sages under his command. He could even threaten others using Lin Jufeng's influence. Even without his court officials, the Yuha God dynasty wouldn't suffer much loss. A group of corrupt scholars. Not only did they refute my views on court affairs, but they even dared to make me kill my beloved concubine. This is simply preposterous. Emperor Ming was enraged. If these corrupt scholars hadn't asked him to kill his beloved concubine, he wouldn't have given such an order. Sitting upright in the great council hall, darkness and coldness enveloped him. Emperor Ming's expression was cold as he tried his best to endure his anger. He also didn't want to get rid of the court officials all at once. That would leave him with a bad reputation of killing those who had been useful to him. But those people had crossed his bottom line. It was unbearable for Lin Tianyuan. I was called a bastard child before I was 5 years old. I had no father and was beaten out of the house by grandpa. My mother was also severely humiliated. Then, father found us and brought us to the imperial capital. But at that time, he was already the crown prince and he couldn't let me enter the royal family's genealogy. I was still a bastard child in the end. Then, father handed me to uncle. Uncle is mysterious and unfathomable. He taught me cultivation and literature, allowing me to become accomplished. But with uncle, I didn't receive any love at all. There was hatred in Emperor Ming's eyes. When he was young, he wanted his mother's love. But his mother was very strict with him. She wanted him to work hard and become talented. She never once spoiled him. Not a word of praise, not even a warm embrace. Within his memory of his mother, what he could remember were harsh reprimands, cold greetings, and a constant set of goals for him to achieve. When he was young, he didn't get to enjoy his father's love either. At that time, Emperor Yuan was too busy. He didn't even get to see Emperor Yuan even once a year. Lin Tianyuan yearned for care and love to warm him up. Lastly, there's Lin Jufeng. His attitude towards him was to let him grow freely. Lin Jufeng's request for him was to ask him to work hard and only talk to the former if he had any questions. The lack of love in his youth made Lin Tianyuan's character incomplete. His wife was chosen by Emperor Yuan. Lin Tianyuan didn't love her at all, but he didn't dare to disobey his father. Because that was the first time his father showed him concern and helped him solve his lifelong problem. He couldn't afford to refuse. He had a son and a daughter with the empress, but they were always respectful to each other. It was even difficult for them to befriend each other, let alone love. After ascending to the throne, he had been working hard on reforms for the past 10 years, not daring to slack off for even a moment. He had already forgotten how to be doted on. He also forgot how to love others. Until now, when the world was finally stable and the reforms were successful. With his skyrocketing reputation, Lin Tianyuan became arrogant. He believed that he had already solved his father's final wish, so he now had to think for himself. Thus, he began to choose his concubines. One of them was Mei Niang. The first time he saw Lady Mei, Lin Tianyuan's heart was instantly moved. The feeling of seeing 10,000 years with a single glance. His heart pounded. Then, after interacting with Mei Niang, Lin Tianyuan confirmed that she was the person he wanted to choose. He wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. For this reason, he abolished the empress and dismissed the cabinet ministers, firmly implementing his own ideas. This is love. The 30-year-old Lin Tianyuan believed in his current feelings. He found love. He felt meticulous care from Mei Niang. He wanted to give Mei Niang the most precious thing in the world for women. The throne of the empress. In the cold palace. Lin Jufeng and the white cat looked towards the palace. They heard Lin Tianyuan's whispers all the way from the great council hall. The human and cat had different expressions on their faces. The white cat looked forward to love. But Lin Jufeng's expression was extremely ugly. How could he not know about the storm that had happened in the imperial capital in the past few days? There was a lot of commotion. Everyone was talking about it. This was the first time Emperor Ming had a disagreement with the court officials. But the most shocking of them all was his forced retirement of those loyal officials. Lin Jufeng couldn't help but pay attention to it. The reforms had just started. It was a good start. But if this momentum wasn't maintained, then this early success would become akin to a mirage, quick to appear and vanish. But the current Lin Tianyuan no longer wanted to go deeper into the reforms. He wanted love. For the sake of love, he drove away all the court officials. This decision of his made Lin Jufeng furious. Love your head. Lin Jufeng gritted his teeth. He looked at the current Lin Tianyuan, feeling the urge to beat him up. The white cat turned its head to look at Lin Jufeng, whose face had turned ugly. It rose and asked, "Are you very angry?" With a cold face, Lin Jufeng nodded and said, "This woman called Consort Ming is very capable. She managed to charm that fool, Lin Tianyuan, to such an extent. She definitely isn't an ordinary woman." Lin Jufeng originally didn't plan to get involved in this. But now, he had to take a look. It was impossible to hope for Lin Tianyuan to reflect on his own actions. He was currently immersed in the sea of love. He was so happy that he couldn't listen to any bad words. He was unable to wake up by himself. The key person is still that Mei Niang. Lin Jufeng's eyes turned slightly cold. If this woman's background was normal and no one was backing her to do such a thing, then, it would be for the best. But if Lin Jufeng was to find out that someone was plotting behind the scenes, they would be met with his thunderous fury. The situation concerning the reforms has just recently stabilized. If you dare to play tricks behind the scenes, I will turn you, and the people behind you into ashes. Lin Jufeng's expression was cold. Are you going to the Forbidden City? The white cat wrote. I'm already going there, Lin Jufeng said softly. His divine soul that had just broken free from the dark chamber of his consciousness was already on its way to the Forbidden City. To find out if there was anyone plotting behind this matter. If there was no one, then that simply meant that Lin Tianyuan was a fool. Lin Jufeng wouldn't let him destroy the results of the reforms. The white cat looked at the Forbidden City in curiosity. Its claws moved. Do you think there's a mastermind behind the Forbidden City? Lin Jufeng stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was cold and he didn't speak. He would only find out after investigating it. As for the love that Lin Tianyuan talked about love at first sight, heart-pounding, and so on. Lin Jufeng didn't believe it. Love at first sight was just lust. As for the so-called love through long-term interaction was simply weighing the pros and cons. Chapter 48, Love is Dead. Tonight, the moon was round and bright, illuminating the land and the Forbidden City. In the imperial harem, the former empress's palace was magnificent and spacious. It belonged to Mei Niang now. After dispersing the maids and eunuchs, she sat alone in the empress's palace. She wore a placid look on her face as she calmly looked at the mirror. Reflected in the mirror was a beautiful face. It was the face of a man's first love. It was the face that captured Lin Tianyuan and made him fall in love at first sight. It was also the face that made his heart pound like mad. This was probably the face that countless women desired. But in the very next moment, she reached out and peeled off this face. She tore off this so-called face of a man's first love, like she was ripping off a piece of unwanted skin. Hiding behind this face was a mountain spirit with a face full of white hair. It looked weird and ugly. Huff, I've had enough of this human-faced mask. I have to wear it every day, it suffocates my pores. It's very uncomfortable to wear. Mei Niang complained in a low voice. After she tore off that face, she proceeded to take off her fair skin as if she was removing her clothes. A mountain spirit, a dark and thin mountain spirit was revealed underneath. His Majesty had already told me that he won't be coming over today. I can finally relax for a bit. She breathed freely, enjoying the freedom that was hard to come by. What she didn't know was that there was actually someone else standing in the same room. Lin Jufeng's divine soul. This mountain spirit couldn't possibly notice him. As expected, Lin Tianyuan was set up by someone. Lin Jufeng's eyes were cold. He didn't act rashly. Instead, he left the Empress's place and went to the Great Council Hall. At this moment, Lin Tianyuan was still lamenting in the Great Council Hall that his love had arrived too late. It only came when he was already 30 years old. He wanted to start a relationship early and have a childhood love, but it was already too late. In the empty Great Council Hall, Lin Tianyuan was still convincing himself to stay true to his feelings. Lin Jufeng couldn't help but frown upon hearing them. Boom! Lin Jufeng pushed open the door of the Great Council Hall. Lin Tianyuan was startled. Uncle! Lin Tianyuan looked at Lin Jufeng in surprise. He hurriedly greeted him respectfully. HMPH, follow me. Lin Jufeng didn't give him a pleasant look. He turned around and left. Lin Tianyuan was dumbfounded. He didn't know where they were going, but he didn't dare not to go. He could only follow Lin Jufeng from behind. Gradually, he realized that something was amiss. They were going to the Empress's palace. There was only a single person living in the Empress's palace at this moment. His beloved concubine, Mei Niang. Uncle, Mei Niang is innocent. If you are angry, beat me up. Don't hurt her, Lin Tianyuan said in a hurry. I won't hurt her, but I wonder if someone will show mercy later. Lin Jufeng's footsteps didn't stop as he sneered. Uncle, it's fine as long as you don't make a move. I can stop anyone else. Lin Tianyuan heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed. As the emperor, the only person he was afraid of was Lin Jufeng. Lin Jufeng continued to move forward with Lin Tianyuan. Along the way, they encountered many maids, guards, and eunuchs. But these people didn't seem to have seen them for some reason. Even though the two clearly passed by in front of them, they acted as if they were never there. Just like that, they arrived in front of the Empress' palace. The palace was closed and there were guards everywhere. The lights inside were dim, only revealing a faint shadow. Lin Tianyuan watched with a smile. This graceful figure was his beloved concubine. But these doors and windows are tightly shut, it's bad for ventilation, Lin Tianyuan muttered. If she didn't close the doors and windows completely, how could she relax enough to reveal herself? Lin Jufeng said coldly as he directly passed through the door with Lin Tianyuan. The tightly shut door didn't serve as an obstruction to the divine soul of a human god. He brought Lin Tianyuan in and Lin Tianyuan instantly sought for his beloved concubine. But there was only a mountain spirit in the form of a human in here. It had white fur all over its body, sharp nails, and wrinkled skin. It was a demonic beast. A type of mountain spirit, or what the locals call a mountain ghost. Lin Tianyuan's body trembled. His expression turned green and ugly. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. He glanced at Lin Jufeng and shook his head frantically. Uncle, it can't be. At this moment, Lin Tianyuan trembled as he spoke. With this, his love died. He wasn't stupid, he was just blinded by love. He yearned for others to love him, and he yearned to love others the same way. In addition, he became conceited and blinded by his power as the emperor. But at this moment, his mind had become crystal clear as he guessed the answers to his questions. Lin Jufeng didn't speak. He raised his head and gestured for Lin Tianyuan to continue watching. This Mei Niang didn't dare to expose herself for too long. She only revealed herself for less than 3 minutes before she started putting her disguise back on. An extremely terrifying mountain spirit put on the skin of a young girl in front of Lin Jufeng and Lin Tianyuan. Then, she picked up the so-called face of a man's first loves, and concealed her true face with it. The Mei Niang who attracted Lin Tianyuan so much has appeared. She even winked at the mirror. Lin Jufeng looked at Lin Tianyuan indifferently. At this moment, Lin Tianyuan's face turned red and his body started to tremble. Extreme anger and shame coated his heart. His first love. His love. He made a lot of sacrifices for this woman. He thought that he would be blessed, but he didn't expect everything to be like this. Lin Tianyuan was so angry that he couldn't speak. Under Lin Jufeng's expressionless gaze, he spat out a mouthful of blood. "Slut, I'm going to kill you." All of a sudden, Lin Tianyuan drew his emperor sword and let out a loud roar. He directly charged forward. Lin Jufeng released his concealment technique. Mei Niang was dumbfounded. She looked at Lin Tianyuan, whose eyes had turned red from anger. Her heart skipped a beat. She instantly knew that she was in trouble. "Your Majesty, why are you here?" Mei Niang forced a smile and avoided the sword. Her body and mind were nimble, revealing the fact that she had a cultivation base. "I'll kill you." Lin Tianyuan was about to go crazy. To him, this was a great humiliation. He was deceived by a mountain spirit. He couldn't wait to cut this slut into pieces and turn her into minced meat. Lin Jufeng watched calmly as Lin Tianyuan's love turned into hatred. How much he loved her just now was how much he hated her right now. Lin Tianyuan's love died completely. "Don't kill her. You must capture her and interrogate her carefully. There must be someone behind her, find out who that person is." Lin Jufeng looked at the crazed Lin Tianyuan as he coldly gave an order. Lin Tianyuan, who was still chasing after Mei Niang, immediately stopped. Then, he roared in fury. "Nameless, catch this B*TCH. Arrest her maids and eunuchs too. Interrogate them strictly. I want this mastermind behind all of these to die." Nameless immediately appeared. He was only at the martial sage realm, yet his appearance caused Mei Niang's face to turn pale with fright. Turning around, she hurriedly tried to escape. But she was only good with charming skills, not with fighting. How could she be a match for a martial sage? With a single move, she was captured. Lin Tianyuan's hand that was holding the sword trembled slightly. He wished to do nothing but separate her head from her shoulders right this instant. The so-called first love's face whom he had fallen in love with had now turned into something grotesque in his heart. "Uncle, thank you. Otherwise, I would have been forced to eternal damnation." Lin Tianyuan tried his best to control his emotions as he expressed his gratitude to Lin Tianyuan. "Settling all the mistakes that you have made during this period of time is the greatest display of gratitude that you can do for me. Since you're that stupid, then don't talk about feelings anymore. You cannot win against them." Lin Jufeng scolded without holding back. After his scolding, he turned around and disappeared, leaving with him a few words of advice. "Investigate this matter thoroughly. How can the emperor of the Yuha God dynasty be played around like this by them? We can't let them off without making them pay the price in blood." Lin Tianyuan's gaze turned vicious as he said, "Yes.